The Port Adelaide Football Club had a massive fall in 2025, falling out of the finals race and having their senior coach, Ken Hinkley, stand down. Had done such an amazing job, got them to multiple prelim finals, but just couldn't take that extra step. Now they're under new coaching of Josh Carr, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out to play in 2026. Let's get into previewing their season right now. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts channel. We are continuing our season preview series as we get into the back end of it now. And if you haven't been joining along for this series, make sure after this video to go back and have a look at the other clubs that I have done as we get towards the back end now. But if I haven't done your club yet, don't worry. It's coming up very shortly as we get towards the end, and footy season is just around the corner. Obviously, Origin will be next weekend, so exciting times for AFL fans as we get up to it. But now it's time to preview the series of the Port Adelaide Football Club. And in 2025, as I mentioned in the intro, had a massive fall, finishing 13th. Now a new coach with Josh Carr. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play under new coaching of Josh Carr. One thing that I'm thinking he might have had a say in too is bringing in one of their ins, and that is Will Brodie. Will Brodie joins him over from the Fremantle Dockers. And when Will Brodie had his best season at Fremantle, it was under the midfield coaching of Josh Carr. So Will Brodie was a pick 9 in the 2016 draft to the Gold Coast Suns, but struggled to find a side in that talented midfield of the young stars that were building. 25 games, then was traded to Fremantle following the 2021 season. And as I mentioned, his best season, he went straight in there and played all 24 matches in his first season, averaged 26.8 disposals, was a really good player for the Super Coach that year, kicked the 6 goals and polled 11 votes, the second out of any Freo in that season. But then, so we're like, oh, Jesus, this could be a really good pickup for Freo moving forward. Fast forward to 2023, he played 5 matches, and we are yet to see him. Had yet to see him since round 7 of 2023. So I don't know what happened. Whether it was injury, just fell out of favour. Coaching, I'm unsure. But Josh Carr is a senior coach. Will Brodie comes into Port Adelaide. I don't see how Will Brodie gets in, but it looks like Josh Carr has a liking to him. So this might be his best bet to get back in some senior footy for Will Brodie. They also brought in Corey Durden from Carlton. Now, I'm actually a Corey Durden fan. I don't think he's that bad of a player. Nice small forward. Picked 37 in the 2020 draft to Carlton. 64 games for the Blues and 48 goals. Actually played 16 matches in 2025 and kicked 14 goals. So just under a goal a game. I thought he wasn't terrible, but he was a scapegoat for a lot of things. So I think it's not a bad get, especially after retiring of a player that we'll touch on in a second. They also picked up through the rookie draft Jack Watkins, 25-year-old, and was the captain of the North Melbourne VFL side. So this is a story of persistence. So captain of the North Melbourne VFL side, in the 2025 season, made the move over to Alberton in the Sandful. He averaged 27 disposals from his 18 matches, 4.6 marks and 4.2 clearances. He made the Sandful Team of the Year and also took home the A.R. McLean Medal, which is the medal at the Port Adelaide's Best and Fairest night, where it gives to the best Sandful player. So that performance has elevated him a spot on their list, taking him in the rookie draft. So really good story there for Jack Watkins, one of the persistence, 25 years old. We're interested to see if they back that Sandful performance and give him a go. They also brought in Jacob Ware from the GWS Giants. Now, Jacob Ware plays that wing role and was starting to find a bit more consistent footy at the Giants in 2025 in particular. 14 games in 2025 compared to his, if I quickly do the maths here, 25 previous to that, was taking pick 59 in the 2020 draft to the Giants. Debuted, had to wait a while for his debut, round 10, 2022. But as I mentioned, managed 14 matches off that wing for the Giants in 2025 and averaged 13.4 disposals. So hopefully he can lock a role down there on that wing for Port Adelaide, because he was actually starting to find his feet at AFL level. Now, outs, there are a few. Rory Atkins retired, and now Rory Atkins is an interesting story because he had a really good career. I thought at Adelaide, I rated him pick 81 in the 2012 draft to Adelaide. Had to wait a very long time for his debut, might I add. Round 6, 2015, but then put up 101 games for the Crows and 47 goals. In 2020 trade period, he joined the Gold Coast Suns as a free agent. Obviously thought that there was a spot for him there, but we mentioned why Will Brodie was pushed out. So I don't know Didn't know that the Gold Coast Suns as a midfielder was going to be the right get, but he struggled there, and then he was transferred to as a rebound defender. But he ended up notching up 37 games for the Suns before being traded to Port the start of the 2025 season, where he only played the 3 games for the season and then retired. Now, there's no doubt he'll be remembered more as his performances at the Adelaide Crows, career total of 141 games, and kicked the 52 goals. Anytime a player gets over 100 games, I've got to hand my hat off to them. 1 game's even good, but over 100 games, you've had a solid enough career. So well done to Rory Atkins there. Now, a player who was delisted that I've never understand why he gets so much criticism from his teams is Ryan Burton. Now, Ryan Burton was pick 19 in the 2015 draft to Hawthorn, debuted in round 21 2016, and then was the runner-up in the Rising Star Award in 2017, where he averaged 21.3 disposals and 5.7 marks across 20 matches, playing that intercepting halfback role. And then on the back of that, July 17, 2017, he signed a 3-year extension. But this is where things got messy for Ryan Burton. At the conclusion of the 2028 season and the start of the trade period, it emerged that Hawthorn was seeking to trade Burton back home to Adelaide, so to Port Adelaide, in order to facilitate the arrival of Chad Wingard. Now, Chad Wingard was an up-and-coming superstar of the game, had won games off his own boot, playing as a midfield forward for Port Adelaide Football Club. Burton was overseas at the time and was unhappy about the fact that they were looking to trade him after he just signed a 3-year deal and he was just completed his first year of that deal. He saw the opportunity to return back home to South Australia and play for his club that he grew up barracking for. So it's a win-win situation in the end, I guess. He finished with 47 games for the Hawks and then was traded to Port Adelaide. Now, Burton went on to play 115 games for Port across 7 seasons before being delisted. Was in talks of Carlton at this trade period, but it did fall through. Finished off with 162 games and 25 goals, but I'll never understand why that happened. I often think he was one of those ones who was quick to be dropped, quick to be left out. And I always didn't mind him, always used the ball reasonably well, got plenty of the ball, obviously a second in the Rising Star Award. Yeah, I'm just not sure about that, but I thought he had some more footy left in him, only 29 years old, but obviously they thought differently. Another player who was delisted was Jeremy Finlayson. Now, he obviously had some backlash and some problems at the back end of his career, but pick 85 in the 2014 draft to Jerry OS, 66 games and 90 goals for the Giants. Was a solid player for them before being traded to Port at the end of 21 for family reasons. Managed 62 games for Port Adelaide and 76 goals, just the 8 matches in 2025 and 5 goals. So I mentioned he had some problems where I think there was racism one and there was some online stuff as well. But overall, I think it's the right move. Obviously, they're just looking to move past him. The emergence of Mitch Georgiadis is the right way to go. A career total of 128 games and 166 goals. And the last out and the last retiree is Willie Rioli Jr. Now, Willie had a really good career, especially at Port Adelaide. Made his name at West Coast, but Port Adelaide, I believe he really, really shined. So he was a pick 52 in the 2016 draft as a 21-year-old. Managed 51 games for the West Coast Eagles, 60 goals, and he's a premiership player. But he did have that 2021 ban for marijuana possession, which is where the end of the West Coast Eagles really started to come to an end. I think after that, he requested a trade to Port Adelaide at the end of his career. Now listen to this. 58 games and 91 goals. So that's going a tick over a goal and a half a game, which is really, really, really solid, I thought. Didn't write down what he got in 2025, but 109 games and 151 goals. It's an interesting one because I want to see how old is Willie Rioli. Willie Rioli is 30. So I still personally think Willie Rioli had another season, maybe number 2 in him. But like Cyril did, he's retired early. I'm assuming he'll go back home. But yeah, I thought Willie Rioli had another season in him. Let me know in the comments if you thought that too. I thought he was one of their star small forwards. But a really good career, especially for Port Adelaide. 58 games, 91 goals in return. Well done, Willie Rioli. And a premiership to go along with it. Now let's have a look how they look across the park. Starting off the key defenders, we know what a solid player, All-Australian Ali is. He's one of their key defenders. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher is a bit of hit and miss for me. Sometimes I think he's really good, then sometimes I think he gets exposed. Asava Radigali gets exposed way too often. Yeah, there's not much really to say about him. Harrison Ram, I've heard a little bit about. Possibly could take that third tall option down there. Jacob Moss and Xavier Walsh. Now we'll move over to the defenders. Someone who's going to be spending more time at halfback this year, and we'll touch on later, is Connor Rozee, the skipper. Perfect spot for him. Kane Farrell's another one who's a really neat user of the ball and drives the ball forward for the Port Adelaide Football Club. Josh Sin, we're starting to see a bit of. Really like the look of him. Miles Bergman is listed as a defender, but all reports he's going to make the move as an inside midfielder. Been absolutely tearing it up at pre-season. Logan Evans is another one who's a real kicker and playmaker off the half-back line. Lockie Jones is similar, but he's more of your lockdown defender type. He's one that can often get exposed a little bit too, but he's hard at it. And Josh Leah, I don't believe we have seen yet. Now for the midfielders, Jackson Mead, we've seen a little bit of. Jace Burgoyne starting to show some really good signs off that wing. Good user of the ball. Zach Butters, we know, is the vice-captain. Hard at it, one of the top players in the competition. Christian Moraz, we've seen a little bit of, but not enough to really write home about, but he's got some decent potential there. Jacob Ware, we mentioned, off that wing. Ollie Wines, hopefully he can keep his body right and keep his heart in good check as well. That's hopefully all good there. Jason Horne-Francis, we know how much he can flip a game on its head, whether through the midfield, whether it's up forward. Will Brodie, we mentioned. Will and Drew, the tackling machine in that midfield. Tom Anastopoulos, I'm going to say. I don't believe we've seen him yet. Edwin McKinley, we haven't seen. Will Lorenz, we've seen a little bit of. Jack Watkins, we mentioned, the rookie draft 25-year-old. Benny Barrett, haven't seen yet, but we've seen a little bit of Manny Liddy, and I really like what we've seen from Manny Liddy so far. All right, Rucks, they've got a three-man ruck on their list, and that we've seen all of them: Ivan Soldo, Jordan Sweet, and Dante Visitini. I think Jordan Sweet is their number one ruckman at the moment. Ivan Soldo showed some really good signs at Richmond before coming over, and he came over to take over that number one ruck role, but I think Jordan Sweet's gone past him. Let me know in the comments if you think that too. Now, key forwards we have a look at here. So Todd Marshall's listed as a key forward, but Todd Marshall has been training at centre-half back in the preseason, and by all reports, has been going really, really, really well. We'll touch on him soon as well. Jack Lukosius, hopefully he can keep his body right. He's a really important player. Jack Whitlock, we've seen a little bit of. And Mitch Georgiades had a breakout season last year, 60-plus goals. And yeah, I thought he was really, really important. Forward, Sam Powell-Pepper is one of those pressure forwards who could also run through the midfield, hard as a cat's head. You'd love to have him on your team. Joe Berry, we've seen a little bit of too. Really good one for Supercoach last year as well. Tom Cochrane, we've also seen a little bit of. Don't mind what we see from him. Darcy Byrne-Jones is playing that more pressure forward role, plays on the best small defender, but then also hurts in the other way and impacts the scoreboard. Joe Richards been a good pickup from them from Collingwood. I thought he had a really good season. And Corey Durden, we mentioned, coming across from the Blues. Well, that's how they look across the park. Now let's go ahead and highlight some key few players going into the season. Let's go. First off, I'm going to start out with my lookout for, and the way the game is playing, I think this person is the perfect lookout for, could really have a really good season. He's a really good player already, but it's Connor Rozee, the skipper. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to the media, Champion Data have come out and proven that if you don't move the ball fast, you will not be a top team in 2026. It's just the way the game is being played now. Let's take, for example, last year's and the year before's premiers. Brisbane Lions. The perfect player they've got off halfback is Dane Zorko. Gets the ball, uses it well, and rebounds from the defensive 50 and gets the ball humming fast. Connor Rozee is that exact type of player, and we started to see it a little bit when he got moved to halfback in 2025. And by the looks of it, he will play a lot of 2026 off halfback, elevating that run and delivery off halfback to really get the ball humming, because that's the way you are going to win games of footy going into the future, and especially in 2026 season. So if you haven't got it, you need to find someone if you want to be competitive. And Connor Rozee for Port Adelaide is the perfect man as the skipper to do that. In 2025, he had a career best year, really. Averaged 27.5 disposals from 21 matches, which is a career best, and kicked 11 goals. Best game was round 2 v Richmond. We had 39, 2 goals, 7 clearances, 12 score moments, 5 tackles, and 559 metres gained. But we're going to see a lot more of playmaking from Connor Rozee in 2026, and I'm excited to see it, and as should all Port Adelaide supporters. All right, my needs to lift for 2026 is someone we didn't see in the 2025 season at all due to rupturing his Achilles in a training session, and that is Todd Marshall. Now, Todd Marshall has been in the system long enough now, and he's made a positional move to centre half back, and I think it's going to be the perfect spot for him because what Todd Marshall is really good at is his ball use. That's always been a key factor in Todd Marshall's game when he gets the ball outside 50 and delivers it inside forward 50. And he's always been a really nice mark and athlete. So playing as a centre half back, I think is going to be really good. So he can come in, defend. I don't want to see, and I don't think he won't be there lockdown playing on number one man. He's going to be controlling and just loaming around, and hopefully alongside Connor Rose, he can get a 1-2 punch going with the ball use coming out of the half back. So Todd Marshall needs to lift, but this positional move could be one that could shape his career. Where do I think the Port Adelaide Football Club will finish in 2026? I think it's going to be a year of learning a bit too. I know Josh Carr's been there for a while, but coming in as a new coach is never easy. So it's going to be a little bit of learning situations. But I want to say that 10th and 12th, I don't see them necessarily playing finals, but I could see them playing that wild card weekend. That's just my personal opinion. I think down back is what really could affect them. They're key defenders. Maybe Todd Marshall can make that difference, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my 2026 season preview for the Port Adelaide Football Club. Thank you for watching along. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and comment on it. Smash that subscribe button as we keep growing our subscribers along the way, and hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload. But if you don't have the time to sit down and watch this video, lucky for you, I'm going to have this whole series available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for all your audio listeners as well. So if you're listening to this via either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button, turn notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload. And please, guys, remember to leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there to newer listeners. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. And until next time, I'll see you guys then.